The day I received the keys to a 2,500-acre valley from my late grandfather's estate, a woman in a red blazer stepped front of my truck at the gate and said, "You have no right to be here." Behind her stood razor wire fencing, no seconds trespassing signs, and an entire residential community of 340 homes built on my land. The HOA loudspeaker crackled. Seconds like the siren of a self-appointed government. I said nothing. I looked at her, then down at the folder in my Seconds hands, and understood one thing immediately. Seconds I was going to need a far better lawyer than she had ever been. Let's get into what Seconds telling me where in the world you're watching from. I read every single one. 0:48:48 seconds. The drive into Clearwater Valley followed a 2-lane county road through Scrub Oak and Limestone Hills. I made it with the windows down, one hand on the 0:57:57 seconds wheel, the other resting on a manila folder stamped by the Delvane County Land Records Office. Inside was the deed parcel CV 187. 1:071 minute, 7 seconds total 2,514.7 acres, transferred by lawful inheritance from the estate of Harold Eugene Brooks.
1:151 Minute, 15 Sekunden to Matthew Allen Brooks.
My grandfather had bought the valley in the 1960s, back when it was open grassland and old. 1:231 minute, 23 seconds growth pine. I'd only visited twice as a child, but I was a geodetic engineer by trade. I read land records the way other. 1:311 minute, 31 seconds. People read novels, slowly, skeptically, always looking for what didn't fit. The first thing I noticed was the sign. Half. 1:401 minute, 40 seconds. Hidden in the grass on the roadside was an old oak plank. Clearwater Valley, private property of He Brooks. But right. 1:481 minute, 48 seconds. Beside it stood a newer sign, navy blue, polished, embossed with a stylized tree logo. Clearwater Valley Residential Community, managed by CVHOA. 2:002 minutes, they hadn't removed the old sign. They had pinned it down with the new one. At the gate, 2 uniformed guards took my 2:082 minutes, 8 seconds certified deed copy and radioed someone inside. 3 minutes later, a white SUV rolled up with practiced precision. That 2:162 minutes, 16 seconds was my first meeting with Donna Strickland. 58 years old, platinum hair, burgundy blazer, the kind of 2:232 minutes, 23 seconds expressionless face that had spent years practicing power. She looked me over, introduced herself as president of the 2:302 minutes, 30 seconds Clearwater Valley HOA board, and said, "I'd recommend you turn around. That piece of paper you're carrying doesn't mean what you think it means out here." 2:392 minutes, 39 seconds, then she handed me a bound document. It was labeled the Clearwater Valley Long-Term Management Agreement, executed in 2013. 2:482 minutes, 48 seconds. According to Donna, it gave CVHOA full operational, developmental, and infrastructure rights over the entire 2:552 minutes, 55 seconds parcel for 99 years. "You inherited a title on paper," she said. "We hold everything that title is worth." Then she turned and walked away. 3:063 minutes, 6 seconds. I sat there at the gate and opened the document. My grandfather's signature was on it. At least it looked like his. 3:153 minutes, 15 second signature. But Harold Brooks had written his name the same way for decades. 3:213 minutes, 21 seconds strong, squared, steady. This version had something different in it. 3:273 minutes, 27 seconds hesitation, tremor, interrupted pressure. I'd seen enough handwriting and legal records to know when something was wrong. 3:363 minutes, 36 seconds. I didn't argue at the gate. I didn't make a scene. I simply told Donna I'd need a few days to review the material. 3:443 minutes, 44 seconds. She nodded once and said, "Take all the time you need. We've been through this before." That line stayed with me. We've been through this before. 3:563 minutes, 56 seconds. I drove away and wrote down 3 questions. Was this agreement registered with the state? Did Harold have legal? For 034 minutes, 3 seconds capacity when he signed it? And was the attorney involved still licensed? For 104 minutes, 10 seconds. 4 days later, I was renting a room above a hardware store in downtown Delvane when 3 express envelopes arrived within 2 hours. That wasn't coincidence. For 214 minutes, 21 seconds. That was choreography. For 234 minutes, 23 seconds. The first was from Harrove and Strickland LLP threatening me with civil liability if I continued interfering. For 314 minutes, 31 seconds with CVHOA management rights. The second was from the HOA itself, accusing me of violating 7 community rules. 394 minutes, 39 seconds during my 11-minute visit to the gate, including disrupting residential security operations and distributing. For 484 minutes, 48 seconds. Unauthorized materials, by which they meant handing over a copy of my own deed. For 544 minutes, 54 seconds. The third was worse. It was a screenshot from the community's social media page. 5:015 minutes, 1 second. Donna had posted a warning about a suspicious individual falsely claiming ownership of the land and urged 5:085 minutes, 8 seconds. Residents to report any contact with him. There were more than 140 comments. 5:155 minutes, 15 seconds. Grifter fronts the threat. 5:195 minutes, 19 seconds. I photographed every page, then went back to the first letter and checked the attorney's state bar number. Suspended since